Hey, got one or two in the live stream already. Hiya, we're just 1 minute early, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to have a little bit of a chuck while a few more log themselves in. Can somebody give me a bit of a sound check? Just make sure everything's alright, make sure that I'm actually logged onto the right stream. Like I say, I'm still pretty new and pretty novice to this, so getting these, like I say, these little steps are going now, so I've been able to put this tonight's stream on as the Friday night live stream. And I can actually pick it up from inside, hopefully, and then broadcasting on the right thing. Really? Ooh, 95. Evening, Paul, lad. Sounds good. Yeah, so everything sounds good on the volume. Dave, nice one, Yankee Clipper. That's exactly what I was just going to ask. Make sure that they're at the thing of the volume and everything's working all right. So hopefully we're going to have a real good stream tonight. I'm looking forward to this. We've got plenty of stuff to talk about. Great mate of mine, which is Kieran from Fingy, the Scottish lad does darts reviews. He sent me a couple of sets of darts. We're going to be having a look at one of those sets of darts tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. So Aileen Harvey is in. Aileen Harvey's in. I'm going to give her a shout out 2 or 3 times tonight. Absolutely awesome. And absolutely brilliant. Aileen has just got a first 180 over the last few days. There's a couple of different times when I was hoping to get it in. I was hoping to get it in on the live draw earlier on yesterday. And it just went straight out of my head. I even had it written in big red writing. So, Aileen Harvey, toe to the hockey. Nice one. And what we're going to do is set the first 180 up for you. Right, let's get the old Russ Bray firing on all cylinders. And the first one tonight is dedicated to Aileen Harvey.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First leg dynamite to throw. Game on.
Right, we're ready for this, Aileen? This is 100% for you.
180.
Right, Neil's in. Hi-ho, Neil from Neil's Darts. Kieran's in. Hi, Kieran. Are you all right, lad? Neil Migalski's in. Looking powerful in the shirt, coach. Yep. Fingy. I just thought I'd wear this just for a little bit of a change. I've got loads and loads of shirts. And like I say, best dart player of all time. Let's just hope I don't disgrace him while I'm doing my chucking tonight, which I probably will. But there you go. Like I say, we've got plenty in. Cheers. Cheers, me days. Nice one, Aileen. I tell you what, it's one hell of an achievement that when you get your first 180. It really is. Really is an achievement. And don't forget, it won't be the last. You only ever have your first. You never have your last. Oh. Right, so what we've got tonight is we're going to have a bit of a chat about the condos. Something that has never really crossed my mind before, of actually trying them out and what have you. Like I say, I got a set from Carlos the Bull, he was at the time. He's the Rhino now. And he sent me the zero stress ones when they first came out. And I've got to say, the white ones that I was sent to that Callum sent to me, were slightly different material than the very early ones. Hey, Steve Lamore's in with the first one. He's straight in. He's straight in.
180.
Nice one, Steve. Cheers, mate. Absolute star. Loving it to bits. Dean Brown's in. Ryan Goodwin's in. Everybody's in the house. Yeah, so like I say, what we're going to do tonight is Same as usual, just fire your questions in as they come into your head, and I'll answer them as I go along. What we're going to do is, first of all tonight, is we're going to have a look at a new set of darts that's been sent to me by a real good mate of mine, which is Kieran, and that's Kieran, and he's the Scottish lad, does darts reviews. So if you've not been onto his channel, get over there. Absolute star of a bloke, really is. Does some really, really good dart reviews. And what he's done is he's been very, very kind and sent me some darts so I can have a play with them. And I shall tell you what they are now. These are the first ones. I've got 2 sets that he sent me, and I'm going to review one today. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to review another set on Sunday. And then after that, what they'll do is they'll go into the thing. They'll either go into the giveaway, and what I'll do is I'll give them as an extra set on top of what I would normally do, because we still don't really know when we're going to come out of this lockdown, and I don't really want to build up a load of sets of darts and then go out with them to give them to like one place. So we'll see how it goes anyway, but I'll make sure that they go to somewhere that's really worthy of them, mate. Right, the first ones that we're going to have a look at are these, and these are the Condors. So Kieran sent me this set of Condors, and do you know something? I've had them out of the box, and I've had a bit of a... I haven't had a chuck with them. My thingy, my daughter's boyfriend has had a chuck with them this afternoon, and he really likes them. He really likes them. I like the grip on them and everything. I think the grip feels really good on them. The only thing I haven't done is actually chucked them, so I'm going to chuck them for the first time for you in a minute. Quantum Grip Tides is another good. All right, that's gone over my head a little bit, that, I'm afraid. What dart would you recommend for someone struggling with grip? Yeah, well, it all depends. Don't forget, you can get a dart with a load of grip and it might not be suitable for you. It all depends on why you're struggling with your grip. Don't forget, some people suffer with very dry hands. Some people suffer like I do. Well, not suffer, I don't suffer with it, but I have sweaty hands, and then other people have greasy hands. So it all depends, because certain grips are certain, like even micro grip will work with, I think it's very dry hands, micro grip will work well with, whereas some of the more aggressive grips of a different type, so like the pixel grip, might not work as well. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I think if you've got very greasy skin, so very oily skin, that might not work very well with a pixel grip, even though they're sharp and what have you. Sometimes, because it's a lubricant, it just the darts still move out of your hand, and that is the only time really where I would recommend, if you've got oily skin, believe it or not, a really, really good thing with oily skin, you know, is like a water base, so a really good pH based and moisturiser. And don't worry about it thinking it's a bit girly and what have you. It isn't. If it helps you grip the darts and what have you, it's worth having a go at. But don't forget to bear in mind that not all grips and what have you are because of the grip on the dart. Sometimes it's to do with your skin condition. Don't forget, sometimes we have dry skin, sometimes we have sweaty hands like me, and sometimes we have oily skin. So it can be one of those 3 things. I mean, it could. It's very, very unlikely, but it could, because you're gripping the dart too lightly, or you've got one of those very, obviously, because I've not seen it, it could be one of those weak grips where you've like just about got hold of it with your fingers. 62. Right, let's warm this arm up, and then what we'll do is we'll have a chuck with these new ones that Kieran's chucked us.
Ladies and gentlemen, first leg dynamite to throw game on.
Right, let's just have a bit of a... You know what I'm like, I've got to warm this arm up. Otherwise I'll be throwing rubbish all night. See, as I'm starting to warm up, you'll see the grouping starting to come better and better. Got that shirt too. Derek, mate, the best dart player, Phil Taylor, without any question whatsoever, is the best dart player that's ever walked the face of the earth, and I don't believe anybody will equal his achievements, because he was of his time, and his time was the tail end of the old school. So what I mean by the tail end of the old school was the old, if you go back and look at Bristow and Jockey Wilson and what have you, Taylor managed to fight all them off and fight all the way up until 2016, 2015, where he was getting towards the end of his effectiveness then. And the really good thing about Phil Taylor is he understood that and he knew when to get out, unlike RVB, who's got out and then decided to come back again, which I think is a bit of a mistake, to be honest with you, or try and come back. Possibly. But if you go for lighter, heavier darts, would you change your grip? No. The thing of the Dynamite Dave grip, if you've worked on that, Aileen, it shouldn't matter any difference what type of darts you've got. I was doing it last week. I don't know whether you was with us last week, but I had in hand, I think I had something like 20, 21 grams, 24 grams, and 50 gram darts. So I had three separate darts. So I had the 3 different darts, and I was throwing every one of them with the same arm action and everything. And the difference between the 3 of them, even with the 50 gram dart, was a matter of probably half a centimetre. So that sort of difference goes to show that it's the weight of a dart is neither here nor there. And the other thing that a lot of people don't realise is heavier darts go higher. A lot of people think because the darts are heavier, they're going to fall lower down in the board. It doesn't work that way. It's all about kinetic energy. And heavier darts go higher. So if you're struggling, I wouldn't say struggling to get your darts up to the 60, but if when you're throwing comfortably you find that they're dropping slightly low, try a slightly heavier dart. That might very well work for you. Right, where are we? They're coming in thick and fast, these are today. Right, there's Aileen. Game of Thrones is in. Hiya fella, you hope you're alright. Totally okay. Ground is the key, evening. Right, ground is the key. One thing I don't have is any. Kieran, mate, thingy, when we're off here, you've got my email address, haven't you, mate? Email me. I'll sort you one of my shirts out. How's that for you? If I've got one in your size, mate, I'll send you the shirt out tomorrow. Not a problem. I mean, you might not want to wear one of my shirts, but I think I've definitely got one that would fit you anyway. Brand new one in the bag. Bristow, what do you mean? Paul Boardman, what do you mean? Nah, Bristow. Do you mean you think Eric Bristow was the best dart player that ever walked the earth? Emotionally, in a way, I've got to agree with you because, I mean, I wouldn't say that I was a good mate of Eric's, but I did know him, and he was very, very mistaken. A lot of people thought he was dead arrogant and he was horrible. He wasn't, not at all. What it was he was an entertainer. Exactly like Finger. I mean, Gerwyn Price, you couldn't meet a nicer bloke. Look at Finger, Peter Wright, his actual alter ego for the hockey is a totally different person than he is in real life, and Eric Bristow was exactly the same. I found him the sort of guy that you would want to have a drink in the pub with, if you know what I mean. He's the type of guy that you know what I mean, he'd stand his round. He was good company. I thought he was anyway. Right, so what we'll do now, Stu McNally. Hiya, Stu. You all right, lad? Right, I've printed that letter of yours out, but I've read about the first 3 lines of it. I've just been absolutely run off my feet. I promise you, when we finish tonight, I'm going to read it while I watch the telly or while I listen to the telly. Right, and the first few lines. I'm telling you now, if you end up with me having a lump in my throat, you're in trouble with you. If you upset me and make me cry, like that. No, it's great to hear, you know, when people tell you the journeys from where they were. It's great that, because the bit that I've read of it, the first bit is like from when he was a kid. And that's I love it. That's absolutely fantastic. I'm really looking forward to reading that, really am. Oh, and when I say stuff, don't get upset at anything. Half of the time, I'm only kidding. Right, Ashley Calvert. Evening, Dave. Hope you're good. Evening, everybody. Yep, evening, everyone. Awesome, thanks for it. Oh, you're right, mate. No problem. I'll sort you that out tomorrow. Not a problem at all. Yeah, thingy, Bristow, he was a great player. And there's no question at the time that he was world champion, he was a worthy world champion. But when we're talking about the best player of all time, I think emotionally, yes, I understand exactly where you're coming from. If you say Eric Bristow, everybody, like, we're out there in the day, because I remember watching him live playing, and half of the crowd loved him, half of the crowd hated him. But the ones that loved him were the ones that loved the entertainer. The ones that hated him sort of like didn't understand. They thought that the person on the stage was the real person. Very similar to, I suppose, to some of the soaps and what have you. Hiya, Neil. You all right, mate? Right, well, Finger, same thing. Email me later on. Tell me what size you are, because I think I've got 2 or 3 that are lying about. Well, they're not lying about. I bought them in first place, and they cost me a good few quid, but I've got some in bags here. Hang on a minute. That's what I say. I've got some. That one, no, over that way. Right, I've got some in bags here. So you and Kieran can have a shirt, no problem. No problem at all. So that's just you two sorted out, but don't everybody ask me for one, because I've only got 3, so I can only give 2 of them away. But yeah, you two lads, no problem. Email me later on, because I'll probably have Neil's address, but email me anyway, because you know what I'm like. I've got a head like a sieve. I really have. Right. You'll be blubbering like a big baby. Yeah, I will, mate. That's exactly what I'm like. Yeah, I am. I care a lot, but it's just the way that I am. But on the other side of it, put a tenner on the table, and I'll stick a fork in the back of your hand to get it off you. If we're having a game of darts, there'll be no friends then. But yeah, only kidding. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the darts that Kieran, the Scottish lad, does darts reviews, sent me, and these are the Falcons. What I've done is I've made them up with the Falcon flights on them, but what I've done is I've used some, they're actually super darts. They're just some stems that I picked up, but the super dart stems, but shall we call them super grip? Super grip stems. We'll sort something out. Email me, Neil, and we'll sort something out between us. Joe, mate, hiya. You all right, lad? 180. Listen, right, anybody that's out there, right, if you email me, dj.llewellyn123@outlook.com, if you want one of my shirts, there's the red ones. The only ones that are not available are the Ultimate Darts Coach shirts. They're like a bit of a special thing then between me and BVD. So if you want a shirt, email me. If I can get 4 or 5 people that want them, I might be able to get them at a bit of a better price off Brian. So just email me, see what I can cobble together, and then if I get enough orders, what I'll do is I'll put an order in, and I'll do them you for what they cost me plus the postage. You can't say any fairer than that, can I? Hiya, Shabba. You all right, mate? Shabba. Having this like. No, you're here, mate. You're not late. We didn't see you coming in late and finger sneaking in and trying to pull your tray out from behind your desk to sneak in, so the teacher didn't see you. Yeah, right. So we've got these condos. So what we'll do is I'll have a little bit of a chuck of these now. Like I say, I've not thrown these before, so let's just see what we can produce with a bit of an handful of these. Oh, I can see what Ashley's partner means. Yeah, the grip's really good on them, innit? Do a bit of a talk to Kieran here. Yeah, the grip's really good on them, innit? And it's right down the barrel. You've got different types of grip, but the grip itself feels very positive down the barrel, all the way down. So that's 81 with first 3 darts. $140. Second 3 darts. See, now you all thought that I filmed the things, didn't you, and spliced it all. I don't, you know. Sometimes Do have to do that, but it's only because I have to go and answer the door and stuff. Back to back, 140. Not a bad little dart, these, are they? Oh, come on. 81. So, yeah, I'm quite impressed with them. I've got to say, Kieran, I am impressed with them. They're nice. They fly nice. They're pretty well balanced. I'd say they're slightly front heavy, but only very slightly. But yeah, they do fly quite well. Let's see, a 170. Yeah. I'm a dart player, not a performing dog. I wish I could do 170s on demand, mate. I really do. Be able to sell them, wouldn't I? Just as good, really. Shabba, Darren is Lopire, Darren. Neil Migalski, and me. Hey! Shane Jenkins. Hi, Shane. Shane's in the house. Let's see, a 170. Yeah, I wish I could just pull one of them out of there. That'd be really nice, wouldn't it? Ever used kite flights? Hang on a minute. Do you mean like that sort of thing? I've got some of them that I use for another one for Kieran. Scottish Lad Does Darts Reviews. That's what I used on the shortest darts. Those tiny little stems there with them flights on them. Those are about the ones with the smallest surfaced area because I haven't even got any pairs. Don't even have any pairs around. I did have at one point, believe it or not, the day before I did the challenge for the smallest darts with the smallest flights and the shortest stems and everything on them. I actually had, do you know them Phil Taylor ones? They're horrid. They're tiny little things like that with a funny shape on end of them. I had some of them, and somehow they disappeared into the bin along with the special stems that I'd made. I'd made stems that were they sort of like slotted over the barrel, and they were made out of straws. And I'd cut them, and I managed to get the flights into them and what have you. Put a bit of super glue on them, had them all set up, and I think somebody put them in the bin on me. Not on me. I don't think they did it on purpose, but that's where they ended up. Oh, come on. Oh. 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 Grouping's good. Just the aim's not very. Kite flights. I'd recommend trying a flight punch as they keep flight life long lasting. Yeah, well, that's great. That I've a bit of advice for people. If you found something, get it out there. I mean, to be honest with you, to be absolutely honest with you, I've never come across anything that's as good as the click system. I think they're absolutely fantastic. Used them now for years and years, and absolutely swear by them. Callum Reston. Yeah, that's the yeah. Hiya, mate. You all right? Callum is the lad who won the second prize in Thingy in this month's donators or supporters free prize giveaway. So the thing of the chalky, so we won the thing of the digital scoring system. So that's in the post now. It went into the locker about an hour or two ago. So that's on it, winging its way up to Scotland to him, and he's just put a super chat in. So let's go and fire up Russ Bray and give him a 180, shall we? You ready for this, Callum? This is especially for you, mate.
180.
Yeah. Cheers, fella. I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much for sending me those 79. Thanks very much for sending me those flights and the Simon Whitlock darts, those combos. I don't know whether everybody who's on the live stream now has looked at the video that I put out at 4 o'clock this afternoon. I actually did a review of the one-piece flight and stem combinations that come from Condor, and done a little bit of a review on them, bit of a chuck of them, and it was Callum that very, very kindly sent them to us. So that was fantastic, that. Right, where were we? Right, so we've done a little bit on the Falcons. Really, really impressed with them. I think, to be honest with you, if I didn't have a regular set of darts now, I think I'd probably use them quite regular, because they're a really nice dart. They fit into your hand nice. They actually throw nice. The balance is good. Very, very slightly front weighted, they feel like to me. But everybody's an individual, and everybody sees things in a different way, don't they? Also with the Falcons, I found short stems work best. Yeah, of course it's a personal preference, but I mean, to me, to be honest with you, if I put short stems on them and pear-shaped flights, it won't make that much difference. A lot of it, and you'll find this, Kieran, I know you've adopted the mechanical throw, and it's improved. I went back today because I'm thinking I'm in the middle of doing a little bit of research, because I was thinking of doing a bit of a tribute video for you. But when that's done, that'll probably be another week or so before that's completed. And I went back and I had a look at the way that you were throwing when you first started off a few months ago, and the progress that you've made from then till now over about the last 6 months. And the progress that you've made is absolutely phenomenal. It's really hard to see when you're living with it every day and you're improving a little bit every day. But I went back and looked, and the difference in the way that you throw now to the way that you threw those 5-6 months ago is just absolutely phenomenal, mate. There really is a big difference. Right, Shane Jenkinson, throwing with you. Yeah, like I say, I've done the same thing again this week. I think I've been that busy, I've not had a chance to get onto that, because obviously it's not as simple as going on to Knacker and playing like between two of you. Because I'm doing it on a broadcast, it has to go into my software, so it takes a little bit of research to sort it out, and I think I'm about halfway there, because there's Knacker, isn't there, and these lie darts. There's probably about 4 or 5 different ones, and obviously I've got to find the one that works the best with this software that I use, which is Streamlabs. If there's anybody out there that's watching the stream at the moment that knows a bit more than me about how to get this set up, just give me an email at dj.llewellyn123@outlook.com. I'll send you my phone number and we can have a chat about it. You might be able to walk me through it. Game of Thrones, I've got the... yeah, Dragoons. Right, so those Arrow Infernos, are those the red ones that have just come out? They've not been out that long. I really like the look of them. I think there's a couple of people who've done the, what do you call it on them? The reviews. But I also really like the, not Johnny Clayton's, the other fella that I was talking about this afternoon. You know something, my brain has just gone to jelly for some reason. Throwing from the end. Why do I like throwing from the end of the barrel? It's just because you've got an individualistic throw, an individualistic grip and an individualistic throw. And to be honest with you, coming up to 2 or 3 years ago where my channel actually started to take off big time. Nice one, Neil. Cheers, mate. You're an absolute star. Absolute star. See, this is what the dart tubers are all about. We just help each other. Whatever I've got, Neil can have. Whatever Neil's got, I can have. We just sort things out between ourselves. Like I say, it just makes for some really, really good, fantastic live streams and contents for everybody out there. So this is like, it's really strange. If you think about it, a few years ago, there's no way that we would have been able to get to do broadcasts live like we do now on the internet. This internet thing, don't forget, when I was a kid, when I was born and when I was a young lad, the biggest communication thing you had was a red telephone box at the end of your street. That was it. There was a red telephone box that always smelt of wee, and sometimes there was poo in it, and you used to have to go in and stick your 2p in, stick your 2p in it, and you could make a phone call. And look at where we've come from that. There was no such thing as tablets. There was no such things as they had computers, but there was only people like the BBC and massive corporations that had them, and they were like green screen things, and they were absolutely garbage. But if you think about how far we've come in half a decade, in half a century, so in 50 years, so let's call it 40 years, because when I was 14, there was still no computers in schools or out like that. There was nothing like this. So for us to have this opportunity to be able to communicate with everybody across the world and be able to, like, for me here in my studio here, it's like me being in a pub where there can be, I mean, we've got 23 viewers at the moment, but I've had up to like 40 viewers, so it's like having a pub with 40 people in it, all like-minded people that all like darts, that all support each other and everything, and it's just, I just think it's amazing. I sit down sometimes and I think about it, and it's just mind-blowing. If you think about it, it's mind-blowing. I've got cameras that I've set up and everything and a laptop, and I can broadcast to the world, and I can give you all the things that I know, whereas 25 years ago or 30 years ago, there was no way you would have ever known about me. There was no way, even if all I would have ever been, I suppose, if under those circumstances, I probably would have been a professional dart player. However, when I was a kid and when my brother, Roy, when he was going in the embassy and what have you, the money was absolutely garbage. I think the main prize for winning it was something like 600 or 800 quid. Now that's like it's not even 2 or 3 months' wages, and then you've got all your fees for travelling and everything out of it. The professional game in them days, it wasn't worth a carrot. So the only people who did that were people who were working as well. So like you'd work in the steel industry or carpentry or one of the cotton mills in Manchester, and at night time you'd go and play your pub darts, your county darts, and your lower level. We didn't have pro league and stuff like that. Then it was just you just had your thing, your pub darts, and if you were good enough, you got into what was the intersectional league, and then from there you actually went on into the BDO properly. But again, you were only like an amateur, and that's all they really ever were, even right up until 2007, 2008, and I think it was 2008 where the BDO, I think the prize was something like 100,000 quid, and it was like mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing for that sort of money, because that was wages for 2 years, wasn't it? Right, Simon Scott in the house. Thanks very much, mate. Let's get you a bit of a shout on. Thanks very much for that super chat. Absolutely fantastic. Appreciate it so much. Thank you.
79.
Right, so what we were doing then, we were on the Falcons, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Simon Whitlocks, and I'm going to have a chuck of them like I did in the video. Right, so we've got Callum Reston's set up, so we've got that set up there. So I've got the thing of the actual axe flights. Now, Neil was talking about the axe flights earlier on. He left a message on the YouTube thing there and saying about these, they're a lot stiffer. Yes, they are, and they're not forgiving. They don't move out of the way like the zero stress ones. But I mean, to be honest with you, yeah, you're probably right. They are probably as hard as a normal setup. But I find that these fly a lot better, if you know what I mean. In the early days, 1970s, did they stand 9 feet away? No, they didn't. No, not as far as I'm aware, anyway. And I was round it when I was young, and I don't ever remember it being any different than 7'9 1/4. I don't particularly. But to be honest with you, I've got to say, in my early days, we were throwing from 7'6", and that was because it was log end. I I used to play on a Manchester board, what they called a Manchester board, which is made out of wood. It's called log end for a reason, because it's just like the end of a tree lopped off. And then what they did was they got lead inserts. They used to insert lead into the end to make the spider and the numbers. And then that's what you'd throw at, and they used to keep them in the pub in a bottle, what they called a bottle bath. So it was like a fiberglass bath about 2 foot deep. And where I saw most of my darts when I was a kid and threw my first ever darts at a proper dartboard was East Levenshulme Cricket Club. And on a Sunday afternoon, they used to have about 10 boards going in there. It was like a big thing, it really was. So that's the only thing I can say about that. I don't ever remember them throwing from 9 foot. Ashley Calver. Hi, Ashley, and Ashley's in the house. That's what. Do you know something? I think it should be. I think it should be. I think it does deserve very, very serious consideration, because if you think about it, they have archery in it, and darts is like a mini version of archery in it. So I think, yes, I think it could become an Olympic sport. I do think it could become an Olympic sport. I think it'd be really good because it'd be something similar, wouldn't it, to the World Cup of darts. But yeah, I think it certainly could, and I think it'd be even better if they went back to the old Olympic ways. So in the old days, if you were an Olympian, you weren't professional like the Olympic boxers. They weren't professional. They could turn professional after the Olympics, but they couldn't be a professional and take part in the Olympics. So I think that would be really good and all, to get some people of like the higher level that don't, because I tell you something, that's one thing I would do tomorrow. I would go and throw for my country tomorrow. Definitely go and throw in the Olympics tomorrow, but to do it to earn money in the PDC, etc., doesn't really interest me. I like teaching people, that's what I love doing. But yeah, if I got the opportunity to represent my country, mate, I'd be down there now. I'd be in my car driving if I got that offer, without any doubt. Aileen Harvey, it's really touching, you know, because I love the fact of being able to help somebody else do something that gives them pleasure. You know, like what we all love playing darts, and my ambition for right from the beginning, when I actually when the light came on, and I'd say this is probably seriously 2 years ago, about 2.5 years ago, once the channel had been running for 2 years, something like that, 2 and a bit years, I thought to myself, right now, I've actually got the grounding to start now making the progress to be able to say that this works, not to say I think it works. It's proven now. There's thousands and thousands of people that are throwing in the Dynamite Dave way, and it's bringing the game up. I've said this on loads of occasions before. My finishing strategies, we never used to see them up until 2 years ago. People used to laugh at me. Now we've got double finishes in every big tournament. Every big tournament, the players are going for them. And if what I was saying then, and they were saying to me that I was stupid and I was an idiot and I was this, that, and the other, and no professionals. I remember somebody quite prominent said to me, professionals will never go for double finishes because it's against, is it the odds or whatever you think they call it? Basically, it's not the prescribed way of doing things. Where that's something that I've never done. I don't go along with prescribed ways of doing things. I like to research things. I like to use logic. I like to use mechanical sense, and that's where the Dynamite Dave. That's where it all came from. Was just basically logic. Standing with your feet flat on the floor is 10 times more stable than pirouetting round on the edge of 1 foot. It just makes sense. Everything about the Dynamite Dave way and the amount of time that I spent developing it, it's all just common sense. It's like working class man's, you know what I mean? If somebody hits you on the head with a log, it's going to hurt, isn't it? It's common sense, or it is to me. Right, I'll finish reading this now. Yeah, well, that's, to be honest with you, yeah, Aileen, that's because there's very few people other. Well, I mean, there's a couple of other people that are trying to copy me now on YouTube and Facebook and places like that. But to be honest with you, I suppose if you think about it, that's the highest compliment anybody can ever pay you. And that was it. Years ago, all you could do, and it was a young chap I was speaking to the other day on Facebook. He emailed me to find out the prices for coaching and stuff like that. And I said to him, he was asking me about this, that, and the other. And then he mentioned, he says, I put a post on Facebook. He says, and I got a load of replies on it. He says, and then he said, just somebody out of the blue. I think it was either Neil or it might have been Kieran, to be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was either Neil or Kieran turned around and said, you need to give Dynamite Dave a shout and ask him about coaching. And when I was speaking to him, like I say, we was having a bit of a conversation over Messenger. And I said to him, the problem that you've got, I said, when you go onto somewhere like Facebook or something like that, you've got 1,000 people who don't play any better than you telling you what to do. And the problem that you've got is when you've got 20 people telling you what to do, there's too many cooks, if you know what I mean. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. So you end up confused. And then what you do is you end up trying to fix something that they're telling you that's wrong that might not be wrong. So the analogy I used to him was it's like having a £60,000 BMW and letting the lad on the corner fix it for you when he's got no computers, no nothing. He comes up and tells you what's wrong with it, and he just fixes it, even though he doesn't really know what he's doing. So yeah, I mean, I understand. I know some people would get upset by that because they think that they're helping, but they're not necessarily helping. It's like you don't go out in your back garden and try and lift a 250 kilo weight if you're going to start doing weights. You've got to start in a certain place and somebody's got to teach you how to lift properly and what have you. And I think this is where the Dynamite Dave way and everything is coming in, and it's starting to build now, and it's getting bigger and bigger. And it's like a snowball, and that's all it'll do, is it'll just get bigger and bigger and bigger, because what I say actually works. It's not snake oil. I'm not selling you something that doesn't work. There's thousands of people out there that testify day in, day out that it does work, and it is possible. And it is possible for a pub player who plays at a 35-40 average 6 months later to be playing at a 75-80 average. I've seen it happen time and time and time again. And you, Aileen, are just another piece of that puzzle that proves that the Dynamite Dave way does actually work. And whether you take small parts of it, because some people go the old log and they do everything, get everything in, and they get some really fantastic results out of it. And then you get other people that take little bits out of it and they see the improvement from those little bits and think, ooh, now what I'll do is I'll try the stance. Now what I'll do is I'll try the upper body position and what have you. And it sort of like their journey takes a lot longer rather than just going for it up line and sinker straight away. Slobodan, what I would do, mate, is if you're new to playing darts, all you need is a normal basic set of darts. Make sure they're tungsten and make sure they're decently weight matched. They don't have to be perfect, but what they do have to be is 15, 20 pounds. I mean, looks to me like, I don't know whether you're in Russia or somewhere like that, so I don't know what type of money it will cost in your currency, but 20 quid, 20 pounds, 25 pounds will get you a really, really good set of darts. And then what you want to do is, personally, what I would do, have a go at the Dynamite Dave way, go back, watch some of the videos, try some of it, and then there's actually a video, 2 or 3 videos on the grip. Now that is probably a very, very, it is a very, very vital part of the game, but it's something that you can change late on in getting into the Dynamite Dave way. So my personal advice to you is stop everything that you're doing, start doing it in the Dynamite Dave way, start right from the beginning, work your way up, and you'll be a really, really good dart player right from the off, virtually, mate, right from the off. Yeah, well, Aileen, you are one of the first on the list. As soon as we get that okay from what does that woman call him, the potato in the potato in a wig or something. Once we get the go ahead off Bojo, then Finger will sort all that out. You're one of the first ones. You're one of the first ones on the list for me to contact. As soon as we get that go ahead, we'll sort something out. And I'm looking forward to you coming. Really am. We've been chatting, haven't we, for what is it now? It's well over 12 months, and it must be nearly 18 months now, because we booked a session in, and then it was just that March thing, wasn't it? And then boom, we were in lockdown, and that was it. And we've never really come out of it enough for us to be able to actually get that coaching session in, but we will. Absolutely promise you that. Right, Game of Thrones. Oh, catch that in a second. Game of Thrones. Have you ever played the Yorkshire or Ipswich boards? The Yorkshire one is the one without trebles in it, but in a standard size board. Is it a normal size board? Because the log end is about 2/3 the size of a standard dartboard, the log end, and it's got tiny little doubles. The doubles in it are literally, how can I say this? I bet they're not. They'll be 5mm. If you work in mills, they'll be 5mm by about 20mm long, something like that. So yeah, 2 centimeters long by 1/2 centimeter in depth. And the thing is, it's a really, really hard board to play on. But I have seen the Yorkshire board, if it's the one that I think. There's a couple of strange ones about and all, into that treble ball, which has got lots of trebles on it or something. But I think, to be honest with you, they're more of a gimmick than anything. Not the Yorkshire, because obviously that was a proper game. But some of these ones that you get that are like snooker and cricket and stuff like that, good fun to play on, I suppose, but not something that I'd spend 50 knicker on. Absolutely, that's my biggest gripe with the Olympics. It has to be amateur. Yeah, it does. I'm thinking it's sort of like, it's getting a bit silly, isn't it? Because you're getting like professional weightlifters in it now, and you're getting professional martial artists and professional this and professional that. That's not what the Olympics was made for. It was meant to be for amateur competition. The best amateurs in the world, not the best professionals. Oh, dragged that last one into the treble 5. Well, yeah, thanks, Kieran. Thanks, Kieran. And that is my thing in my path in life. I must get at least 5 or 6 people a day ask me why I don't turn professional. There's not a couple of reasons for it. The one real reason for it is I don't want to. If I wanted to go professional, I'm pretty sure you've all seen my videos, you've watched me throw live. I ain't no dummy. I can chuck, and thinking under pressure, believe it or not, I chuck better. On a stage, I chuck better than I ever can in the bedroom. It's just the way that I'm made. I work better under pressure. Anybody who plays darts with me will tell you. That's why I'll give, like Fingy, even county players. I'll give county players 100 head start, even if they're really good, and I think to myself they're going to batter me, because it's sort of like, it's like somebody hitting me with a cattle prod. You know what I mean? It's like, soon as it's game on, it's like, I want it. I want to win. I've got a really, really competitive streak in me for winning. That's why when I play darts against someone, I can't let them win. I can give them an handicap, so I can give you 200 head start, I can give you 100 head start, but I can't stand there and play 501 each and me play like an idiot, so it like doesn't hurt your feelings, sort of thing. I can't do that. I normally do it on the first leg. If somebody comes for a coaching session with me, and a lot of people who've been, if there's anybody online, they'll tell you exactly what I do. What I'll do is on the first leg or the first 2 legs, even though I'll give them a 200 head start, what I'll do is I'll just sort of like claw them in nice and slowly. So what I'll do is if they're scoring like 26s and 41s, I'll score 80, I'll knock the odd 100 in, might knock the odd 140 in if I've let them get a little bit ahead, even much further, and I'll just bang a couple of 140s in or something like that. And then towards the end of the session, then what I'll do is I'll actually turn the taps on and show them how I actually can throw. Our second set of darts of the night, the Whitlocks. I've just been throwing them pretty aimlessly. Ton there, nice and easy. And that's the whole thing about the Dynamite Dave way. It's got to be effortless. It's got to be effortless. If you're trying too hard, and the other thing is you'll find this when you're actually playing in a game. And I was watching Neil, if you're still there, mate. I was watching you last night. I think you were on a live stream when you were on the Nexus board, and somebody asked you the question, and you put the gram board up, and you were chucking there. And I don't know what you were like later on in the stream, because I was at work. I was in my truck having my break, so I was just watching you. So I didn't dive in or anything. But I did notice, and the thing is you were saying like you couldn't hit the bull and what have you. And the harder you tried, the worse you got at it. And that is an absolute fact that, you know, the harder you try, the worse you perform. And that is, do you know something? That is what a religious person would call the God's honest truth. And it is, absolutely is. The harder you try, the worse you get. You've got to relax and you've just got to let it happen. Stu McNally. Oh, we've got one in. Dean Brown. Cheers, Dave. Keep up the... Make a Friday night, few beers and a chuck. Listening along. Nice one, mate. Let's fire up the old finger, the old rusty for Bray. You've got to have a finger. You've got to have a 180. Right, you ready for this? You ready for this? Dean, here we go, mate. Here we go.
180.
Do you know something? What I'm going to try and do is, it might take me a couple of weeks to sort this out, but I'm going to try and get something so when one of them, I'm pointing at the screen, you can't see that, can you? What a dummy I am. When people do the super chats, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get Bully to come in from the side. Do you remember on Bullseye where he used to go like that? I'm going to see if I can get that sorted out. Wonder if it's possible. I bet some technical person could do that. Yeah, I'd be quite prepared to pay somebody to sort that out so they could do that. That'd be mint, wouldn't it? So if somebody puts a super chat in, Bully comes in from one side of the screen and goes like when you were out of time on Bullseye. Do you remember that, eh, everyone? Steve Mortimer. Hi, Dave. Quality show. Just enjoying myself, mate. Absolutely enjoying myself. The only thing that I'm missing is a beer, innit? That's the only thing that I'm missing is a beer. Want to try steel tip? Yeah, Slobodan. I'm assuming that's the way that you pronounce your name, Slobodan. Same as Slobodan. Is it Milosevic or whatever his name was? But yeah, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce your name. Yeah, playing soft tip is a totally different game. It's a totally different animal than steel tip darts. Steel tip darts, the trebles smaller, the bull's smaller, all the segments are smaller, to be honest with you. You throw him from, I think the soft tip, if my memory serves me rightly, you throw from 8 foot, whereas us, we throw from 7 foot 9 1/4. But the one thing that I will say to you is if you take up steel tip darts and you get good at it, you follow the Dynamite Dave way and progress on and get good at it, I'm telling you, you will annihilate people on a finger, on a soft tip board. When I've played, which is only on a few occasions when I've not been here, I've been at the UK Open, I've played a few games over there, and I don't think I've had one leg that was over 15 darts on soft tip. And that's playing the 501, of course. I mean, they have loads of games, don't they? 701, cricket, this, that, and the other, all sorts of things, which I don't understand. But I'm sure that my mate Neil, when I get a soft tip board, I'm sure my mate Neil out there is going to teach me how to play these different games. Yeah, overthought it. That's what you were doing, yeah. What you do, you see, is when you overthink things, you put pressure on yourself. And that's what happens is your muscles start to tighten up. Even though you don't think they are, subconsciously, your muscles are tightening. And when your muscles tighten, it means that when you're throwing, your finger, it's like wading through mud, if you know what I mean. As you're throwing the dart, it's not going where you want it to. And that's simply because your muscles are not reacting in a relaxed and an accurate, not accurate, a relaxed and a reactive way. Basically, they're not working at their optimum when you're all stressed up. You work at their optimum when you're at your most relaxed. I mean, everybody will know that when they've been in the pub and they've had a couple of beers and they're relaxed and what have you. They play 10 times better than they normally do when they're in the not in the bad bedroom, but you know, when they're not playing under normal circumstances. You first go in the pub 2 pints down the line and you're playing 10 times better than 3 or 4 pints down the line, and it's not playing very well at all. Oh, nice one, Scottish lad. Nice one, Kieran. Thanks very much, mate. Absolute star. Are we ready?
180.
Cheers, Kieran. Love you to death, mate. Star man. Absolute star man. Thank you so much.
79.
Right, Callum, I've got them here now. That's what I've just been chucking. I've just took to, I think it was second or third visit, ton with them. If you saw the video earlier on, I think, was it, I either did a 140 and then a slack visit and then 2 back-to-back 140s. So I either had a turkey of them, which is 3 140s in a row, or 140 slacker visit, 140 back-to-back. So yeah, these, you know, it's really strange, but there's not a lot I can't throw. The ones that I really do struggle with are the Moving Kings because of the great big scallops in them. Other than that, I can usually manage with like 99% of other darts. Don't get me wrong, I can still get them to the board and I can still get them in the treble 20s and the doubles and what have you, but I do struggle holding them. These, what I like about these is if I turn it that way, see if I can get it into focus for you. If you look, the actual dip in the barrel there actually sits across, and that'll be exactly what you were talking about when you said the actual recess in the barrel fits really well, and it gives you more torque force. That's what it's actually called, you know. It's actually known as torque force, and that is driving the dart to the board. The torque force is, as your hand goes forward, the dart tries to move back in your hand. So basically, if you had hold of a cricket ball and you just very, very lightly touched it and projected your hand forward, the cricket ball would fall out the back of it. The same with the dart. As you go to project something forward, there's actually a weight counter in that, so moving backwards. Mike Swindles is in. Hi Mike, you alright lad? Hope you're well. But yeah, that's what I was talking about there, is as you actually project your hand forward, the weight of the dart is forcing back into your hand. So if you had a really smooth dart, that dart can move very slightly back in your hand. As your hand is going forward, it can slide slightly back and mean that when you release the dart, it doesn't quite go where you want it to. If you've got a dip in the dart, and I think this is one of the reasons why these are made like this, because of the way Simon Whitlock throws them, he's got a load of torque force on it because his finger actually sits inside that recess as it goes along. Because if you look, it looks, if it was exaggerated, if you look at it, if it was exaggerated, it would look like an arrowhead. So you've got a slim part here, you've got a recess here, and then a cone at the front that comes along, which means that you've got a load of torque force on it. So yes, I do. My thoughts on disability darts, I think it's fantastic. I've been up to Stockport disability darts a few times. I intend to go a hell of a lot more when it opens up again. It just happened to fall really bad with the thing of the coronavirus and what have you, and all the restrictions that we've had, but I'm really looking forward to getting back there. There's a load of people that I like a lot down there. Thoughts on getting your own custom darts made, Dave? Yeah, I have. And thingy, I've got some names in my head for them. Yeah, it's something that I'm definitely going to look into. Like I say, a lot of it is going to stem from. Nice one. Aren't the high impact twos known as the Dynamite Daves? Well, the thing, I tell you what, if they'd sell me the design, then I'd have them. Yeah, definitely. I'd get them to produce them for me and all. I think they're fantastic. They're sort of like a really, really nice neutral dart. But yes, it is something that I'm going to look into. It is something that I'm going to sort out. But as you know, as everybody knows, all tech thingy pennies, don't it? So it's a fact of, if you're going to have a dart designed, you can have the dart designed and everything. You can have the first set made for you, and you're looking at 100 quid for that, maybe a bit more than that. And then you've got to get somebody who will be prepared to manufacture those in quantities. And the bigger the quantity, you've got to get to a certain massive quantity, like the darts referee. He's able to buy them in the sort of bulk which makes it viable to actually buy them, because the way that it works is you have to buy your darts. So basically your barrels, you'll buy your barrels possibly with the points already in them, or maybe just the bare barrels on their own. Then you've got to buy your stems, you've got to have your flights made if you're having those customized. And as you can imagine, if you've ever ordered some custom made flights from Custom Dart Flights or anywhere like that, you'll understand that if you're ordering 2 sets, 5 sets, 10 sets, it's a certain price. If you can afford to buy 100 sets or 1,000 sets, that makes a totally different proposition. And when you're in the small levels of purchasing, so basically if you're able to purchase 10 sets or 15 sets, by the time that you've bought the stems, had the flights made, you've got to have the boxes made, which are the presentation and what have you, you'd be lucky to make a couple of pennies out of each one. So what I might do to start off with is I might commission some and have those for like giveaways as part of the channel. Just have them as giveaways here and there. Chris Littlewood, thank you very much. And Shane Jenkinson, 2 more super chats. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. Just means so much, this really, really does. Right, let's get you two lads a couple of 180s.
180.
Right, that was for Chris Littlewood, and then Shane Jenkinson comes right in behind.
79.
Not with a 79. Don't take no notice of that.
180.
Right, you two lads, you're only 141 from a 9 darter. But thanks very much. Thank you so much.
You require 141.
I told you, didn't I? Oh no, nowhere near. Ah, next door. Next door. Right, let's have a bit of a chook. $60. Right, so can you lads and lasses out there see the condition of the mission board? There we go, 85. If you can see the condition of that mission board there, look how it's holding up a £30 dartboard. You can go out and buy a shot dartboard that's 85 quid. You can go and buy the Unicorn Eclipse Pro 2 or whatever it is for 60 quid. £30. I think they're 28 quid or something like that, retail. You can get them from A180 Darts. I don't know whether BVD do them, but there's a few out there that actually do them, and what an absolute fantastic dartboard that is. I've not turned it, as you can see, and I've had that up there now, must be 6 weeks, is it? It's got to be 6 weeks now, hasn't it? So 6 weeks in the life of Dynamite Dave, and look at the nick that it's in. There's 1 or 2 tiny little white hairs of Sissel that I can see. Aileen Harvey's in with a thingy with a donation there. Thank you very much, Aileen. Thank you so much. Right, so I think what we'll do is we will go. Let's have a see if we can sort this out, and then what we'll do is we'll go take that off, put that on.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First leg dynamite to throw. Game on.
Right, this one's for Aileen.
180.
Thank you so much, sweetheart. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, I hope you don't mind me calling you sweetheart. It's just one of them things from Manchester. It's just the way we are. I find it very difficult sometimes with all this feminist stuff that goes around, and I quite often put my finger, my foot in my own mouth quite regularly, especially at work. Scottish lad. Dave, oh, nice one. Don't forget, every one of them challenges, mate, you nominate me and I'll have a go at it. How did I end up doing on that thing, that last one, with the, which one was it? The shortest darts. I had quite a good score on that one, if I remember rightly, didn't I? Don't need to... Yay! Well, you got one at the top of the show, didn't you? You got a 180 just for getting a 180. So, yeah, but I'm telling you now, Aileen, it won't be your last one. Absolutely promise you of that. 95. See, this is another thing that all of you lads and lasses out there should do, is even when you're practicing, don't be embarrassed, call your scores out, because you'll be surprised how much it G's you up. You get a good score, it'll G you along, and it'll think it just sort of like, it gets that motor spinning. It really does, especially when you get to a point where, or even if it's a bit of a fluke, if you get back-to-back 100s, it just feels awesome. You know, in the early days, it really, really does. So that's what I would encourage everybody to do. Get your own way of doing it. You've heard me, I do it all the time. You know what I mean? And and you know something, I've always done that before I even started the channel. I used to do it in the pub. People used to laugh at me, but it just gets you going, doesn't it? Just drives you up. That one won't though. 26. See, we all get them. We all get them. Oh. Followed by 68. I'm drifting a bit as usual because I'm yakking. And again, look at that. Oh, don't they sound funny? Can you? Actually, you won't be able to hear that out there, you guys. But these, when they hit each other in board, they sound like really strange. Right, nice one. It's nice to know where you. It's nice to. It's just nice to come first, isn't it? Every now and again. Oh, and again, look at that. Treble one. I tell you what, let's see if we can. Is it? Oh, it's just outside. Who's going for the 9? Oh, what we think you were? No, I won't tell you what we call it. Call it the Angela Merkel. 9. Here we go. Yes, come on. Oh no! Look at that, look at the way that sneaked out the side there, 123, right on the wire. Oh, look at that. I was robbed, honest. My mum says I was. Son. There we go now, see what happens. I think I start talking and what have you, and then I go back to throwing, and it I won't say it doesn't work, but I've just got to get back in the rhythm again. Yes, they are, mate. There they are. Them are them. The Condor, yeah, the Condor axe flights, them. They make a bit of a strange sound. If you've got some, you'll know what I mean. They make a bit of a strange sound as they hit the board. Now, somebody was asking me at some point about, who was it now? They said they used them for soft tip. And they said, but the thing of the actual flights have got a couple of little chips missing out of them and what have you. All you need to fix that is go and speak to your missus and ask her to get you a nail file. Works really well because they've got like an edge on them. I've got a little orange one. I'll show it you. Do you know something? People buy fancy dart sharpeners and all sorts. I'll show you what I used to sharpen my darts with finger. And it's that. Simple as that. Now, that is a lass's nail file, but a quality one, I suppose. It's not quite a, because they have a sheet and all, an emery sheet or something, but I pinched this off the white when you want. Don't tell her. She'll kill me. Like that. How's it going? Oh, Dave. Cheers, Dave, mate. You're an absolute star. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's for you, Dave.
180.
Nice one, Dave. Thanks very much, mate. Absolute star. I had a set of those Whitlocks. I love mine, but was struggling for. Well, see, the thing is, Kieran, I think a lot of it is, as I think I explained this last week, a lot of people think that if you're doing YouTube and what have you, you're making a load of money out of it, and we don't, do we, mate? We don't. Even I don't. I make a bit out of the coaching, but that's what I'm here for. But the actual YouTube channels and what have you, if you're doing darts reviews, I think a lot of people think, like my darts reviews, I review darts and then they go into the raffle. So it's sort of like I've got a turnaround for them. But people like Kieran, I know from years ago, from thinking, I used to speak a lot to Darren Watson. He's got loads and loads and loads of darts that he's got that unfortunately just sit round and will never do anything. Whereas I prefer to try and move them on to somebody who will actually get some use out of them. It's like having a motorbike in it and putting it in your front living room and just looking at it and never riding it. It's just seems a massive shame, doesn't it? You have a slide dart sharpener. Yeah, I tell you something. If the file, you just can't beat it. You can't beat it. I think it's fantastic, me. It's the only thing I ever use. Yep. That's what I've got, a nail file. I think that's a nail file anyway. That's where I got it from. Like I said, don't tell. Just shout at me. Oh, come on. 95. Nah, Dave, nail file. Every time. Too right. Yeah, PayPal, I think, are starting to clamp down on everyone. I think what happened was, I don't know whether it started with me, I got bubbled by someone. That's definitely what happened. There's no two ways about it, because loads and loads of people had done it for, and I did not know that it was against their terms and conditions or anything like that. Otherwise, I would never have done it in the first place. I would have found another way of doing it, which is what I'm doing now. I would never have done it through them. But there was nothing that I saw that said on it specifically about raffles or anything like that. It was one of them straight out. It was a shot out of the blue, mate. So I'd be very, very, very careful if I were you, fella. And there's no warning, there's no nothing. It's just, I just got an email off them saying your account's closed. Thanks and good night. Oh, and by the way, you're gonna have to wait 6 months for the money that you've got in here, which was another absolute killer, because that means that the following month I had to find new ways of fetching revenue in to keep the channel going, and the only way I could think of doing that was with the super chats and the advertisements and everything, which I'll absolutely honest with you now, it's something I never wanted to do. I never wanted adverts on my channel and what have you, because let's face it, they are a bit annoying, aren't they? But it was the only way that I could keep it running. So it's one of them. You're between the devil and the deep blue sea. And yeah, like I say, I would never have done it in the first place if I'd have known. But they don't tell you this. What they do is they just hit you with it without saying anything. Now, a reasonable man like myself, I thought if it was me, I would have thought quite reasonably that they would have said, right, you can't do that, stop it, and I would have done it instantly. But there's no ifs, no buts, no appeal, no nothing. And that's why we've got this, that up there. That's the thing of the Streamlabs. I had my first donator put into Streamlabs, believe it or not, on the 24th, so a couple of days ago. And I was over the moon with it. So it just shows that all the little bits are working in their own little way. And it's good. It's good. At least I've actually been able to claw something back. And as I was saying before, it's the other things. It's the incidental stuff. I think I was telling you, was it earlier on today, Kieran? I've had to spend the best part of a bag of sand on a new computer, on a laptop, so I could do the streaming. I've had to spend a couple of £100 on cameras, the ones that you're viewing me on now, and the board and what have you, and the lighting and all sorts of stuff. Like you can see here, I've actually got proper lighting. As you can see, I've had to, and nothing's free, is it? At the end of the day, nothing's free, is it? Be nice if it was, but it ain't. There we go, back in again. And again, 121. Just the 60. Have you ever thrown the windmill vanguards? I got some a couple of months back. Oh, don't run away. Got a couple of months back. Changed them. I Impact 2s. Got to say, I love chucking. Yeah, the I Impact 2s. There's just something about them, isn't there? They're just all right. The windmill, but they're a Billy No makes, aren't they? You know what I mean? They're not a thing of players' darts or anything like that. They're just. And do you know something? When they first started off at Argos, when I bought the first set of them, they were 25 quid, you know. And then they went to 28 quid, and I think they're 35 now. And I'd say that probably is all on the back of the darts that they've sold, because I've promoted them for them. Because I've said to people, I've had them, and I had those. I've had my two personal bests with them, you know. I've had 115.5 and 116.5, about 6 weeks apart, something like that. It was, because I had the first set of the I Impacts. If you go back and look in the videos, I had the first set, and I raffled them off. I actually raffled them off and let them go. And then maybe 4 weeks after that, something like that, me and the missus were in York, and I just said to her, I said, oh, I'm just going to nip into Argos. I'll get another set of them thinking of my Impact 2s. I really, really love chucking them. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go and get them now, shall we? So let's take these Whitlocks out. Put them down there. And what I like with these is I actually like this setup. I think it looks pretty smart. And that's the I Impact 2s, as you can see. You can see the barrels there. These are the I Impact 2s with the blue orb flights in them. And then some pretty bog standard stems. But yeah, let's have a chuck with them, shall we? Not had a chuck with these for ages. Ages and ages. Yeah, look at the grouping on that. That's the first time I've even put them in my hands for, it must be 6 or 8 weeks or something like that. It must be, gotta be. And all right, they're not in the treble 20, but look at that grouping. There's just something about these. I just think they're fantastic. There we go. 100. And don't forget, all these darts are all different weights and what have you, with different lengths of shafts and that on them. So it just proves, it's another proof positive that the Dynamite Dave way really does work. Oh, pulled it. Pulled it. Should have been another ton, that. Dragged it across with the old finger. There we go, we're in again. Oh no, come on, David. 140. So what's that? Visit 3? Visit 4? With them? Like I say, I've not picked them up. It must be the best part of 8 weeks. Oh, come on. There we go, 85, well recovered. What's known in our pub as the Dredge Saver. Yeah, so what do you reckon to that then? Hey, picking them up after not even touching them for 8 weeks. What do you reckon to that? Hey, Ashley. Cameron. I struggle to get myself centred on the hockey, but don't want to get one of those. No, you don't need a sight right. All you need is a mark in the centre of your hockey like I've got. That's all you need. You don't need a sight right. All you need to do is have your body in the right position. I can absolutely guarantee you, if I was watching you now and we were doing a coaching session, within 5 minutes, I'd have you stood in the centre of the hockey and hitting the dartboard in exactly the same place as you do now. I've had it time and time and time again where people have told me that, like Steve Bunting, has got to stand right over on one side of the hockey to throw the darts. Within 5 or 10 minutes, I've got them stood bang in the middle of the hockey and they're smacking that 60. Whereas before they were struggling to get anywhere near it. It's all about body position. You get your body position right, and I absolutely promise you, you'll be able to throw darts like I am. Maybe you can throw them better than I do now, but it just goes to show. You can you can get a proper straight down the line throw. And like I've done tonight, I must have thrown 4 or 5 different sets of darts tonight, and I've performed badly with any of them, even though I'm doing a load of talking and not actually chucking. I'm not concentrating on it. I'm not getting a rhythm going. I'm getting a rhythm going for 4 or 5 visits or 3 or 4 visits, and then I'm talking to you guys again. So I think you've got an idea of what I can play like if I'm actually concentrating and I'm taking it seriously. Tips for inconsistent darts. Well, Aaron, mate, it's one of them. I'd have to see you, because tips for inconsistent dart playing is normally what I call down the centre throwing. You'll get, if you go and film yourself. Sorry, I didn't have all chat. All right, okay. Yeah, you'll probably find, if you video yourself from the front, what I tend to find is 99% of people are coming in front of the face here. So let me move over. So if you're coming in front of your face, look at my forearm. My forearm should be vertical like that and coming to the side of my face. If you've got your forearm vertical and you've got it in front of your face, it's very difficult to throw your darts because they'll go all over the place. What you need to do is that arm has to be vertical, for the simple reason is you're throwing in a straight line. If you've got your arm bent over here to come underneath your eye, you're chopping. It's a chopping motion. So if you release the dart a split second too early, it's in the 1. If you release it a split second too late, it's in the 5. Whereas if you've got a perfectly vertical arm, as you've seen when I've been throwing, they just go straight over the top. And if you release a tiny bit early, it's a little bit over the 60, a little bit under the 60. And that is one of the keys to becoming a really good, consistent dart player. And this is one of the things that, especially it's thingy a bit, it can be a bit difficult with the junior players, because you get them, and when you start playing darts, you're muck spreading, right? So a bit of a waffle here, and then what we'll have to do is we'll have to call it quits, because we're nearly an hour and a half in now. So we've got another 7 minutes or so, hour and a half, and we'll call it a draw then. But with the junior players, it can be really heartbreaking, especially for me, because what they do is they start off and they're chucking at the board, and when they're chucking, they've got a chance of hitting the 18, the 12, the 20, sometimes it's going down into the 15s, the 17s, obviously, as well as it in 6s and 4s. But because the muck spreading to such a massive amount, they're actually getting decent scores. The better you become as a player, you think about, like, when you play at my level, when you're drifting, it's just into the treble 1. it's just into the single one, just into the 5, just into the treble 5. So you've not got that much spreadery. So what happens is you start off and you've got scoring that you can think to yourself, well, it's not too bad. And then as you get better, your scoring gets worse because your concentration and your actual focus and your skill level has lifted, but it means that you're scoring less because when you miss, you're only missing into the 1 and the 5 instead of going into the 12 and the 18. So obviously, if you're gonna get a treble 1, it's 3. If you're a little bit worse than that and you fluke a treble 18, it's 54. So I'm hoping you understand what I'm saying. And then as you get better again, then you start clobbering the 60s. Then you can just, if you need to relax for a couple of visits and you're playing at a pub or something like that, you can just throw 3 or 4 visits and just hit 60. Just put 3 in the top in the big fat bed there, boom, 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 3 60s, and you've still got decent scoring. But when you're that little bit less than that and you're straight into the 1s and 5s, it makes a massive difference to your game. Right, where are we? Yeah, I think I enjoyed that. Like I say, I've not picked them up for about 8 weeks. Must be, if not more. I've just got tape. Find myself getting a 140, then 26, 41. Yeah, well, don't. That's thingy. That is definitely one of the places where you're going wrong. Stand in the middle of the hockey, and just because you've had a couple of bad visits, don't move. That's the worst thing you can do. Because what you're trying to do, hey, whip it holes in the house. Whip it holes in the house. Oh, one of my top chaps. He's been with me right from the beginning of the channel. Massive, massive respect to this fella. I wish I could tell you who he is, but I think he'd kill me if I did. So I won't. He's one of, he's absolute star. Love him to bits. He's been like really supportive and everything right from the beginning of the channel. Right from the beginning. Yeah, that's the thing, Cameron. The harder you try, like I said before, the harder the try, the worse you get. And you need to make a decision. You have to make a decision and you've got to stick with it. If you're going to try the Dynamite Dave way, do it, but do it wholeheartedly, because if you don't, it'll just be the same as anything else you've ever tried in your life. If you don't put the legwork in and you don't put the dedication and the commitment in, all it'll be is it'll just be like anything. If you don't put the effort in and you don't want it enough, or you think that you know better, because there's a lot of, I'm not saying you, this isn't you personally, what I'm saying is when I coach people, you get people and they've got things in their mind and you've got to try and clear that out of the mind so as they're an empty vessel so you can fill it with all the right information. So what I would suggest you do, mate, is go back to the drawing board, start right from the beginning, go and watch some of the basic videos to getting your feet in the right place and all that, and just start from the beginning. And I absolutely promise you, if you put the legwork in, the way that you play darts 3 months from today will not be recognisable to the way that you play now. I absolutely promise you that. Absolutely. But as I say, you've got to put the dedication in, you've got to put the legwork in. Nobody's going to do it for you. The only person who can do it is yourself. Winter Tuesday, find. Yeah, seriously, that's the best thing to do is, if you want some personal coaching from me, if you want me to analyse your throw and the thing of the Dynamite Dave coaching videos, right, are personal. Stuart McNally, cheers Stu, absolute star man. Absolute star man. I'll do this and then I'll come back to that. Right, ready for this one, Stu? It's all the way for you, just for you, my mate.
180.
Absolutely smart. Thank you so much, Stuart. You're an absolute star. Do you know something? I've got to tell everybody. Stu McNally, right, is one of the gentlemen of the darts YouTube community. He's an absolute star. Absolute star. So supportive, and his finger always supports me, always stands behind me. absolutely fantastic. Tell you something, I can't wait to get up to Scotland, me, because I'm going to buy that fella a couple of jars, I'll tell you. I might even buy him a nip as well, eh? Right, what was I talking about a minute ago? Ed's gone now. Oh, Dave's in. Starman, it's another one. Here we go again.
180.
Thank you so much. Absolute stars you are, the lot of you. Right, so it's 20, well, it's actually 30 now, so it's time to wrap it up. So what I'm going to do is I'll just waffle on for another 2 or 3 minutes so you can all say ta-ra to each other, and then I'll say ta-ra to you, and then we'll go. But don't forget, lads and lasses, don't forget, we're back on Sunday for more of the same. Same thing, we'll be chatting, I'll be explaining stuff to you. Don't forget, if you want to ask me questions about the mental side of the game, I'll give you full and in-depth insights into all sorts of stuff. Anything you want to ask me about, you can ask me. I'm not a problem whatsoever. So if you want to ask me about the mental side of the game, the physical side, like I was talking to you before, I can explain to you about the mechanics of where you're going wrong. I can explain to you the mechanics of the Dynamite Dave way and the reasons why it works, because it doesn't just work because Dynamite Dave says it does. It's all body engineering or body mechanics. So it's all got its rooting in common sense. Oh, Dave, cheers, mate. You're hungry for these 180s you tonight, aren't you? Here we go.
180.
Yeah. Cheers, Dave. Yep, stay safe, everybody. I love yous all to bits, so you take care of yourselves, right? Let's keep our nice little family. Keep it all nice like we have done. I tell you something, I've never had as much pleasure out of doing something for a long time as doing these live streams. Absolutely love it. I think you're all fantastic. So take care of yourselves, and we'll see you again on Sunday. And hopefully, I'll see what I can sort out. If I can sort something out with that, I think it's knacker or something like that they call it. I'll see if I... Oh, Clayton B's in the house. He's in a bit late there, fella. Yep, Clayton Beale. Clayton had a personal coaching session. And as I was just about to tell the other chap, because I remembered now what I was talking about, the Dynamite Dave coaching videos are done in 3 sections. So what you do is you do clips of yourself. Basically, you can go onto my website and onto my YouTube channel, and it'll tell you exactly how to do it. All you need to do is email me at dj.llewellyn123@outlook.com. That's dj.llewellyn123@outlook.com, and I'll send you all the details for personal coaching. Personal coaching videos are done in 3 sections. That's only one of the services that I offer. I offer face-to-face coaching when we're not in COVID. I do online coaching, so we do it via Skype or Zoom is a really good one. WhatsApp, so basically, or Facebook video call. I can do it by all the different types of media. And what I do is we do an hour's session of that. Coaching videos, getting back to the core thing of just before we leave. They're done in 3 sections. First section is the analysis. So you send me your clips. I analyse. What I do in section 1 is I analyse it and I project you up on the screen. So I show you exactly where you're going wrong, right? And then what we do is we go over into section 2, which is the putting it right section, or what I like to call change to improve. Because obviously, without change, there can be no improvement. And in that section, I tell you how to put right the things that you're doing, what I consider you to be doing wrong or that can be improved. And then what we do is we go over into section 3, which is a little bit more light-hearted. Normally what I'll do is a personal one to you. I'll do some chucking for you. Hopefully you might even get to see a 180 or 2, or a couple of back-to-back 140s and stuff like that, or a couple of big finishes. I've done a few big finishes, 170s, 161s, 154s, that sort of stuff on the personal coaching videos. And I also then in that section show you how to move your throw around the board, because the Dynamite Dave throw stays exactly the same no matter where you're throwing. It doesn't matter whether you're throwing at the double 3 or the double top, it all remains the same. And it's just about body position. That's the only thing that changes, is your actual body position, moving yourself down for the lower numbers and bringing yourself up for the higher numbers. And that is dead easy to learn, and a lot easier to learn than like an individualistic throw. Right, so take care of yourself, everybody. Could be worth pressing your about section. Oh yeah, it's a good idea that, mate. Something that I never even thought of. Yep, I will. I'll do that. Starman. It's like, yep, you send me an email later on and I'll probably respond to you tomorrow, because it's not far off beer o'clock now, and movie time. I have to go and watch a thing. I usually watch a film on a thing on a Saturday night with the missus. Get some brownie points in. Right, so take care of yourself, everybody. Love yous all to bits. Don't forget, back here, Sunday night, 6 o'clock. Don't forget, on a Sunday night, it's 1800 hours, 6 o'clock. Look forward to seeing yous all there. Don't forget, lads and lasses, you'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. And always, 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 totally okay. See you.